Hello, and thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Tuesday, August 12th edition of our video devotionals. We appreciate you being with us today, and I do hope your Tuesday is going well. It's another one of those overcast, kind of rainy, slightly below normal temperature-wise. I know we're not finished with summer. We're going to get some more hot days, but I'm glad for the little bit of relief that we are having, and I dead sure don't want to try to wish fall sooner than I want it to, because when you do that, you're not enjoying the days that God's given us, and you just it's almost like you wishing for something out there, and you're not appreciating the days and the moments that you have. So I want to enjoy summer while it's summer, and then when it becomes fall and winter and spring, all of that, then we're going to enjoy it. Okay, I think that's just a good philosophy, I guess, to have. All right, we're going to be in a very easy passage to remember, Isaiah 22:22. If you'll find that, Isaiah 22:22, we'll be right there in it in just a moment. Otherwise, thank you for watching the videos. We appreciate any acknowledgments and comments, anything like that. We do appreciate you, and thank you so much. All right, well, let's look right here at Isaiah 22:22. Here's what it says. And the key of the house of David will I lay upon his shoulder. So he shall open, and none shall shut, and he shall shut, and none shall open. Now, if you've been in church any length of time, you say, man, I think I've heard that before, and you are correct. If we were to go to the last book of the Bible, Revelation, if you used to go to chapter 3, verse 7, that's the beginning of when Jesus introduces himself to the church at Philadelphia. There's 7 churches, and in all 7 churches, Jesus introduces himself and some characteristic about himself. Another thing synonymous with those 7 churches is it speaks about toward the end of that description and whatever the Lord spoke to about that church, he says, he that overcometh, and it gives a description about that. So coming back to this Revelation 3:7, where Jesus introduces himself to the church at Philadelphia, and he says basically what's said here in verse 22. He talks about the key of David. He's the key of David, and he speaks about that he opens doors that no man's going to shut, and he certainly closes doors and keeps doors shut, and no man's going to open it. So there's just 2 things I want to say. We'll come back to the church at Philadelphia. But one, as I think about, obviously here in the book of Isaiah, it's talking about restoration, in which the Lord's going to open up the door to Israel. There's going to be a restoration, and there's a lot we can say about that, but I don't want to get too heavy into that. But definitely when God says, I'm opening a door here, and Israel will be restored, even before they were going to see this destruction that would happen in 588 BC. Isaiah's living about 750 years before the birth of Christ. So he's also about 175 years or so before the nation would fall. So he would be dead and gone by then, and all the people he prophesied the same thing. But what I'm saying is he is speaking, though, in terms where things would happen, and then even beyond that, where there would be restoration and rebuilding and all of that, and how the Lord does that. So that's that. The other thing I just want to say, when I think about the door that Jesus opens, I just want to speak just a moment about salvation. So obvious. Even in John chapter 10, it talks about Jesus is the great shepherd, and it speaks about a door. But I want to just say this. When I was 12 years of age, 12 years and 1 day, November 14th, 1976, we had come home from church. I'd been struggling with knowing whether or not I was saved. I believe our preacher, Brother Bill, preached on the second coming of Christ, and that kind of got me rattled. And I thought, man, if the Lord comes back and I'm not saved and all that. And so we all had went to bed, but that was troubling me. And I remember getting up, walking down the hall a couple of times or so from my little bedroom, past my sister's right there. And then there was a little bathroom there at the end of the hallway, a little tiny little house. And I remember walking back down to the end of the hall, the other end. My mother was in the bedroom there. I went in there and woke her up, told her I didn't think I was saved, and believe I was crying, and she came into my bedroom and read scriptures out of her Scofield Bible that I already knew. I knew in my heart, but she was reading them to me, and I remember bowing my head and asking the Lord to save me. So what I'm saying is the Lord had opened up the door of salvation to me, and that door will never be shut. And I'm so thankful for that. I'm glad that he has the key to that. He is the key to it. He don't just have the key. He is the key. And I'm glad in that sense that when you got saved, let me tell you something, that door was open, And no one can shut that door. No one can shut that. That's the door of salvation that Jesus has opened for you, and it's not going to be closed against you. And I praise the Lord for that. And then when I think about that church at Philadelphia, you think about churches, I think about my church and churches, how that God opens doors, and whatever doors that God opens, then we need to go through those doors. And he said, look, I'll open up these doors. Don't you worry about anybody closing those doors on you, so we can trust the Lord in that regard. And I'm also glad, if he closes the door, then you know what? No one's going to open that door. So he's in charge. He's sovereign. So I'm glad today that he is, and he's the key of David. We can say a lot about that, and that means a lot. But I'm so glad that when you look at through the scheme of history, through the Bible and all of that, even through times beyond us, that Jesus is the key. He's the key of David, and he opens doors and he closes doors, and no one can tamper with what he does. And I'm glad about that. And I hope you know him today. If you know him, then you know the one that is in charge of it all. And I'm so glad that we have that opportunity. All right, I'm going to stop right there. Thank you for listening. Lord willing, we'll be back tomorrow. And have a great day, safe day, healthy day. And thank you for watching again.